Out of all the genres in gaming, platformers can be the most difficult to execute. With its predecessors being some of the greatest video games of all time, the bar is set pretty high. That's just an opinion, of course, but to me, the ones that fall short tend to crash and burn. I mean, we can look at 2017 and see that we've had some of the best platforming games in a long time, but still, among the few that succeed, there are many that fail. It's difficult to pull off. The spectrum for this genre is either bad or amazing. Fortunately for us, A Hat in Time finds itself on the best side of the spectrum. Kickstarted back in 2013, Gears for Breakfast promised a game reminiscent to Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, and Psychonauts. I didn't play Psychonauts. It only took a day for the game to get funded. $30,000 was asked for the full development, and in the end, Gears for Breakfast started with a whopping $296,000. As someone who has just recently played it and it being fresh in my mind, let's just jump into it. This game is amazing, or in the words of Gears for Breakfast, it's a cute as heck platformer. After completing Super Mario Odyssey, the itch for a good 3D platformer has been in the back of my brain for quite some time. The first thing to really pop out is the actual art style of the game. Although cartoonish at first glance, the more that you look closer and the more that you experience the levels, you can really see the amount of detail that Gears for Breakfast has put into it. One of the biggest things that really pops of a 3D platformer are the colors. Colors have to blend together perfectly. The level design has to make sense. The music has to set the mood for the level that you're playing. And with the help of Grant Kirkhope, that doesn't really pose to be a problem. I mean, we're talking about the man who's made the music for Donkey Kong 64, Banjo-Kazooie. This could easily be the spiritual successor that we've wanted of Banjo-Kazooie. Even though Hat in Time started off as a fan tribute, there's much more that makes it its own. The movement and overall platforming experience is super smooth. The biggest thing that people tend to block from their memory is the sluggish controls and awful camera angles that we used to experience in 3D platformers. This game takes care of that, refines it, and transforms it into an enjoyable experience, not just for those who love 3D platformers, but everyone. Each puzzle or area is manageable, nothing feels impossible, but still holds on to the right level of difficulty. It won't be a cakewalk, but it doesn't feel impossible at any time of the game. When it comes to the story, for being such a simple plot, I found myself being emotionally invested into the characters and Hat Girl herself. It's fairly simple, and it should be. There is no time for a complicated, fleshed out, long story. That's not the point of this game. At the end of the day, it's about the gameplay, certain characters, certain story arcs. It's very funny how I can find myself emotionally invested, especially to a girl who never even mutters a sentence throughout the entire game. As a quick spark notes for people who don't really want to experience the game and don't want to find the story for themselves, it's essentially about Hat Girl becomes stranded in a world she's unfamiliar with, and she has to collect the timepieces that she's lost so that her ship could go home. Along the way, she runs into different people and makes frenemies. Not really friends, since literally everyone in the game is bad. This goes to show you don't need a very complicated story to make a game impactful. The game is split up into 5 worlds, each one with its own style and amazing environment. I found myself taking in the sights of each area amazed. Gears for Breakfast did an amazing job making sure each world was different and not repeating the same elements from past worlds. It's a fresh new take each time. The main mechanic of this game are the different hats you can make. Each with its own ability, it makes traversing through the world more interesting, which makes the gameplay not stale. There are literally endless possibilities of how you can take each route. How you can explore each puzzle really depends on what hats you have equipped. Oh, and they're customizable. And that's just cute. This game is all charm. Many developers confuse charm with constant barrage of an unnecessary humor or oversaturation of references, which creates a mess of a game. It kind of takes away from the experience if you can tell that they're trying too hard. A Hat in Time has its identity. Imagine every chapter as a different short film. References are tame and not rampant. Even the loading screens of each chapter have a cute little poster of how the level will play out, or even terrifying posters. Even though this is a platformer at its core, Gears for Breakfast has no problem breaking out of its own genre and experimenting with others. This game can turn into a horror game in an instant, and I love that. Ah! Ah! That really did scare me. This level is scarier than 90% of horror games right now. A Hat in Time earns the right to call itself a successor to the greats, but makes it known to players and developers alike that it is its own unique experience. The only con I really have is that the game is too short, but for 30 bucks, I mean 12 hours of solid gameplay is not bad. There are some games that are 30 bucks and don't have any replayability. And the best thing is that not only with the 30 bucks are you getting the base game, but they just allowed modding support, which means people can create levels for us to play even more. Co-op is coming in September, and this is definitely worth the 30 bucks. Thank you for the amazing experience, Gears for Breakfast. Yet again, another Kickstarter I regret not backing. Thank you guys, I hope everyone enjoyed this review on A Hat in Time. I enjoyed every second of this game, and even after beating it, I found myself going back and playing more. I'm going to be downloading some of these custom levels people have made, and I am super hyped for co-op this September. Thanks everyone for watching.